Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Firefly the board game here. As we begin working on the next round, we have just flown and arrived here at Osiris so that we will be visiting the Osiris shipyards in a moment. First, however, we do have to do a little bit of maintenance here, a little bit of upkeep. I went back and watched the video, and we've got the disgruntled tokens over here that we've been counting down the turns. And during the last time round, we had not weren't one behind. We were actually two behind. So we're going to have to remove two more disgruntled tokens, which get removed. Remember, this is only in the solo game. These get removed every time you take a fly action. That ends the turn. So we were two behind on that. So we are now at 13 rounds, I believe it was, if I count right over there. So we have 13 rounds left, and we are solid with two people, Harkin and Badgers. So we have 13 rounds left, just a little over half the game left to become solid with the remaining three quest givers on the board, bosses on the board. The other situation that we had is that after we finished that job, whenever we made the love connection there to Boros, we had forgotten to pay the crew. So we have got a good deal more money than we really should. So being as our crew now gets $1,200 every time we complete a job, we're going to have to take this out of our current bank. So we are down by 1,200, which isn't bad. We've actually got a good deal of money there. I think we've actually got a little bit more than we actually started the game with. But we do need to get that done so that they do not become disgruntled. You can purposely choose not to pay your crew and allow them to become disgruntled. That is a choice that you can make. But we were not trying to do that, so we are not going to do that. One more thing to bring up. I meant to bring this up in the last time. The Firefly over here. My Firefly model we got going on. This right here is actually also, it's not just a model, it's game related as well, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. Let me put down the camera because I need both hands. As you see right here, the tail end of the ship pulls out, and inside it, there are dice. This is actually the Firefly edition of the Deluxe Yahtzee game. I'm sure everyone here's played Yahtzee. It's one of the first games you learn as a more complex games you learn as a kid. After you get out of the Candyland and Chutes and Ladders phase, you learned rolling the dice and trying to make, three of a kind, four of a kind, a straight, that kind of stuff, and get points for them. So this is Yahtzee. It comes with a scoring pad and everything. The Firefly here is the actual dice cup. As you see, the dice fit inside of it so that you can use it as a dice cup, roll them out, and get your scoring. And they are also in the theme. They're also marked with the Chinese characters for the numbers 1 through 6, keeping with the theme of Firefly. So yes, the ship isn't just sitting here as a nice decoration. It is also a game in itself. So it fits right on into the board game series here. As you see, it's actually quite a nice model. It's not a one-to-one scale museum replica or anything like that. But I mean, despite that, it is a very nice model of a Firefly ship, especially for the price. This is only, I think you can get this at Amazon for $20. So if you want a really nice, really detailed, basically toy Firefly ship, you can get it on Amazon for $20, and it comes with 5 dice with it. All right, we're going to get back to the game now. So now that we got that little pregame info out of the way, the first thing we're going to do is go here and look at what's going on at Osiris. And remember that the 4 actions we can take every turn are buy, fly, deal, and work. Okay? So what we're going to do first is we are going to buy. And while I'm thinking of it, we are going to buy fuel. As you see, we are down to our last unit of fuel here in our cargo hold. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to replenish with 5 more fuel and put those into our ship so that we've got the ability to fly around. And as you've seen before, like with that rescue mission, the ability to spend fuel in order to complete little traveling missions. And that's going to cost us 500 credits, or $500. So we'll take another 500 here out of our current banking supply. Next up, as part of the buy, we are at Osiris, and it is a supply planet. So we are going to go over here and take a look at what is in its, what does it have in its discard. And it's got 2 med staff and an Alliance ident card. Ooh, well, the med staff we don't need. We currently have the interrogator. Actually, the interrogator, that'll help part of our problem, though, won't it? Well, it'll cost more, though. The interrogator is a wanted man, so their skills are the same, 1 to 4 and 5 to 6, but they cost twice as much, but they don't have the wanted, because we have the interrogator who's wanted. He costs half as much as they do, but he's got that little wanted rating down there. He's a fugitive. And they add tech skill. He adds negotiation skill. I think I'm going to stick with my interrogator just because that gives us 5 negotiation to go with the 5 tech that Bree and Kaylee do, and he's half the cost. So we're not even going to consider the 2 med staff here. We'll put them back over there in the discard. And let's look at the Alliance ident card. We're going to keep this out here for consideration. As you see, it counts as a fake ID. It gives you 2 negotiation skill, and it's 1,600 credits. That is a lot of money, but I think that's pretty good. If you have this, you are solid with Harkin, and crew carrying ignores a wanted crew rose. So we could use this. We could always give this to Zoe, and she would no longer count as being wanted. So that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to buy that. But before we do that, remember, you always take 3 for consideration. So we're going to take the next 2 off of the Osiris stack here and take a look at those. Ooh, okay, we've got some winners this time. We've got the Alliance Identity card. We've got a Drive Core, the Hyper Efficient Radion Accelerator Mark III. See, that's $800. It cuts your range down from a 5 to a 4, but you no longer have to burn any fuel to do a full burn. So we can zip all over this map here without spending any fuel whatsoever. That is a nice thing to have. And then you've got Simon's Surgical Kit, which is going to give a +1 to any medical checks, and it's a 800 as well. What to do? What to do? Well, at the moment, remember, we're almost halfway. We've still got a lot of movement left to do. I'm not too concerned with the cost of fuel, so I'm not too concerned with burning fuels. So I am not going to consider the drive. As tempting as it is, I don't think we're going to spend the money on the drive. I like having that extra 5 range. Med kits, I am going to spend the 1,600 on the Alliance Identity card. I like staying solid with Harkin, and I like getting rid of that crew roll, and I like the fact, as you see, it's a fake ID. Those are keywords. Just like Inara over here has the keyword on her car as fancy duds, you know. And the mule has the keyword transport. You need these keywords in a lot of situations in both getting and doing jobs and when it comes to misbehaving. So we're going to spend the 1600 now. I will have to dig it out of my bank. Think I will dig it. I'll just probably pull out a 2000. We'll get rid of our 2000 again and get 400 back in change. And we will get the Alliance identity card here. And we'll bring it on over here and put it into our inventory. These will go back into the discard stack, and that will be our buying phase done. All right, so they got those over there in the Cyrus. There is no dealing because there is no boss here. No, none of the quest givers come out of Osiris. So we don't have any wheeling and dealing to do. We've done our buying. Working, we don't have any jobs that we can either pick up in Osiris or any jobs that we can complete here in Osiris. So what we'll do is we'll do that dreaded Alliance make work again. We'll get $200 back for that. And then next up, we are going to fly. So here we go once again. Another disgruntled token taken off the board. That leaves us with 12 turns left. And now we're going to decide where we are going to head. Okay, so we have finished up here at Osiris. We've just burned our disgruntled token. So we're getting ready to fly. And I think right now, I've kind of made this kind of in a heads-up display. And this might help if you're ever playing the one-person game, the solo game. The 3 jobs that I have that I am not working, I have laid out on the board here, you know, face down so that you can see who's giving them. I've laid them down face down on the planets where you actually start them at. For instance, Harkin, the mission for him starts up here at Bellerophon. And Patience and Badger's missions actually start here at the Space Bazaar. So I've got both of them sitting here. And the one that we're actually doing, the one that we currently have active, we have to go down here to Anson's World. So I've got it face up since it's actually active. And it's sitting down there. This just kind of helps remind me where the missions are instead of having to constantly pick them up and look at them and flip them over. This reminds me where the missions that I currently have holding both potential missions and active missions are, so it helps me plan out my route a little bit better. So I've got that. I think we are going to see if we can finish this mission for Niska first, delivering the contraband that we are carrying. So since we're here at Osiris, we're going to try and move down to Anson's World as best we can. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do a full burn. We can go from Osiris all the way down here to Silverhold in 5 spaces, which is of course the limit of our drive core here. So we are going to do a full burn and see if we can get down there in a turn, barring any navigation problems. So we burn a fuel unit, and we are going to move the first space, and we need to get an Alliance card, and we've got a cruiser patrol. This is where we move the cruiser 1 space within Alliance space. So we are going to get the cruiser up here, and we will move it 1 down toward us, remembering that it likes to fall off of the base. I'm going to have to put a little sticky gum or something on there. Sorry about that. So we are going to move it. Remember, we had shoved it way up here in the last where we sent it on a wild gosling chase. So we are going to move it 1 down to right there. Always trying in the solo game to move it and the Reavers closer to you so that they actually become threats and they actually make you think about where you're going to move and all. And then we keep flying. So we are going to move our second move, get another Alliance card. We're good. Keep flying. We'll move our third move, another Alliance card, the last one for this particular leg of our journey. Another cruiser patrol. So we move the cruiser one more sector. It will go here. Hasn't quite caught us yet, and we've got 2 spaces left to move. So we are going to move our next one here. That'll be the furthest from both the cruiser and the reavers. We need to take a border space card this time. Reavers on the hunt. This time the reavers move 1 space. So we will turn them around and send them down this way, a space closer to us. And we will move 1 more to Silverhold and draw another border space card. And we got another keep flying. So that got the movement and the navigation portion of this turn done. Let's go ahead and take those off the board. Ordinarily, you wouldn't even put them on the board. It's another one of those things, kind of like putting these cards up here. I like having them on the board because that helps me remember, 1, how many spaces I've moved, and 2, it helps me to remember how whether I've drawn the correct cards or not. Okay, so we are here at Silverhold now. Very good. Buy phase, I think we might buy another unit of fuel. You know, it's always nice, so we will buy another unit, replenish the one that we just burned in that one, and throw another 100 over here off the stack. I just like keeping my tanks kind of topped up here, you know. Next up, we don't have any work to do. No work that we can do for, no missions that start here, no missions that we can get from here. So we'll get our $200 in make work. And that pays for the fuel that we did and just a little bit more. And then we're going to look at the Silverhold over here and see what they have. That's the Hill Folk. We had Jane, we had Dora Lee, we had the Hill Folk. And we had the 2 explosive units here. Oh, me, oh my. I'm going to hold on to the temporary explosive. This will be the one that the kind of the explosive charge here. I don't want to spend another 1,000. You know, the one that you get and stays with you is worth 1,000. I'm not going to hold down to that one. I'm going to consider the temporary one. And then let's draw 2 more off the top of the Silverhold deck. And let's see what we have here. Okay, we have got fast horses. And those are 200 and they count as a transport. So if we hadn't spent the 1,000, you'll see things like that in here. You know, you've got the difference between the Alliance Identity card and the hastily forged documents, where one is worth a lot and you get to keep it, the other one's cheap and you throw it away. In this case, the fast horses are cheap. They're 200, but you discard them and it counts as a transport. You've got a firearm, a pistol, which counts as 400, and the explosive charge, which is 400. I'm thinking we are going to keep both of those. I think I'm going to spend 800. We'll keep the firearm, and then we got a firearm keyword as well, and then we'll have the explosives. So since we already have the transport, we'll throw it back on the discard stack, and we are going to keep these 2. So that's going to cost me 800. I will take both of these and put them over here into the ship, and I'll break this 2,000 and get my change back for the 800. Yes, you'll say, well, I thought you broke that last time. Actually, I didn't, because we actually had the money. We had 1,000. I think, what did I spend? 1,600 or something? I had the money and enough hundreds left that I could actually pay out of that in the last part of the video. So I'm going to break this 2,000 here, and I will be getting 1,200 back, right? 800, yeah. I'll get 1,200 back in change. So 1, 2, and 1,000. There we go. So we got our change. Now we are going to fly from Silverhold over here to Anson's World, which is where we are headed. So I'm going to move that up there to remind me, but to clear the path, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces because you can't fly through the corners. So this counts as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So at that point, we're going to burn a fuel. And then we're going to start moving. And this is a little dangerous because it's all in the rim space. The border space, sorry. Not rim space. That comes in later expansions. All in border space. So we're going to have to move here. We will go over here to Triumph. Also bordering, orbiting Heinlein. A rogue trader. Piracy or deals on the go. You can buy fuel for 200, parts for 300, or up to 3 contraband for 400 each, and then keep flying. Or you become a pirate. We're not going to take either one. We don't want to buy any fuel. We're not going to buy any parts. We're not going to buy any contraband. We're definitely not going to pirate. We got way too many moral people. So we'll just consider that as a keep flying. We move into the second sector. Family dinner. Spend a cargo, remove disgruntled, keep flying. We'll just use the keep flying. Seems like we've had that one before. Let's go here. We have got the big black, keep flying. And our last place onto Anson's World is another keep flying. So we've made it to Anson's World without anything too horrible happening to us. Let's take the border space cards off the deck. Alright, so now Anson's World, we've landed here. We need to see about working this mission. This is the one that we got from Niska. Great need brings great profit. Okay, illegal and immoral, so once we complete it, we got to remember to put disgruntled markers on all of our disgruntled people over here. At this point, we need to misbehave. So at Anson's World, we're going to misbehave. And almost, with very few exceptions, when you're doing the crime jobs, you have to misbehave. And it tells you how many. In this case, we have to misbehave twice. So what we're going to do, first decide who all's going on the mission. And I'm going to get me another cup of coffee, decide what crew I'm going to take, what equipment they're going to have, and then we will see how we misbehave. We have returned and we are going to work the job on Anson's World. The first thing I need to do, and I looked back, I thought I haven't disgruntled. I didn't discard a token, so we're going to discard that now since we flew from Silverhold to Anson's World. So we are currently down to 11 turns left. Got 11 of the disgruntled tokens over here sitting next to the Stegosaurus. Okay, so next up, we are going to work this job. First thing you do is you look over here to see if there are any needs. We don't have any needs. There's nothing that we have to have in order to work it. So, you know, you always look there. For instance, y'all remember, let me pull up the job we've completed, Badger. Over here it says needs. We needed 2 firearms, 2 combat skills, and a negotiate skill to work this job, both to start it and to end it. We don't need any of that here. So, next thing we do is we look how many times we're going to have to misbehave. Well, first of all, we look at the crew. We are taking the entire crew. We're going to take all 6 of them. We have divvied out the equipment. The Alliance Identity card goes to Zoe because of that issue with ignoring wanted roles. I've given the 4-wheel drive to Kaylee. Gives us transport. I've given the gun to Gnarlo, so we've got a firearm, and I've given the explosives to Bree so that we've got explosives. You cannot, once you've assigned them, you cannot swap the items back and forth amongst people while you're on the mission. So remember that. If one of these people gets hurt or killed or has to go back to the ship while we're working on Misbehavin here, they take their equipment with them and it is no longer available to you. So make sure you've got them with the right people whenever you're getting started here. So according to the card, we've got to misbehave twice. So we go over here to the aim to misbehave deck and we'll pull off the first one. This is kill the alarm. So we've got two choices, just like with navigation. We can rig a bypass, which will be a tech skill with a 5 or higher. Oh yeah, I think we've got what, 5 tech up there? We've got 5 tech skill and a reroll, so we probably definitely go with the tech. The other is just shoot the go-ram thing, in which case we'd do a combat and we'd need a 7 higher. Okay, as you see there, the warrant issued. If we were to fail the combat, we would get a warrant issued on us. That would mean that we automatically fail this particular mission. It would go back in the discard. We'd no longer keep it. It'd go back in the discard, and we would get a warrant. We would get a warrant for our arrest put on the ship, so we would be a fugitive wanted ship now if we were to do that, and then we would continue on. That would end that. As you see here, if we screw up with the rig of bypass, it's botched. All botch does is that this turn ends. We're no longer allowed to work this job, but we can work it again next turn. And down here you see an ace and a hole. If we had a hacking rig, there's where you see the green words. If any of these things were a hacking rig, we could just automatically pass this because we would go automatically past the alarm. But we don't have one, so we don't have the ace in the hole. So we need to rig a bypass. We need to run a 5 or higher on a tech roll. And let's see what our tech skill is. We get 3 from Kaylee. We get 2 from Bree, so we've already got a 5 right there. We automatically pass it. Let's just see if we do it in a heroic manner. And we do not. So it's a very good thing that we had enough tech skill going on with our 1 there. So, okay, so the first act of Misbehavin, which was kill the alarm, we have passed. So we can proceed. We got the 5 or higher. Very easy one. You need to draw another Misbehave card. A vote of no confidence. I love my captain. Requires no disgruntled crew. We don't have any disgruntled crew. We can load 1 cargo and proceed. Oh, this is an interesting one. We'll be taking our cuts now. Pay each disgruntled crew an extra cut now or discard them and proceed. Okay, wow, we got an easy Misbehave there. We're going to take definitely the I love my captain. No disgruntled crew, which none of our crew is disgruntled. We get to load a cargo. So we are going to get a cargo put into our ship. And then we proceed. So we have passed both of the misbehaving steps here. So we've misbehaved twice. Now we're going to deliver our 2 contraband. So we'll take both of our contraband off here. And I'm actually going to flip one of them into cargo. And this will be the cargo that we got from that last misbehave there. So we've actually picked up a cargo. I'll get rid of the other contraband. So we've unloaded the contraband. Now we need to negotiate to get paid. As you see, we have a grifter bonus. If we had a character who was a grifter with us, we could get an extra 500, but we don't have that. So now we need to negotiate. So we're going to have to run a negotiation skill. We need to get an 8 or higher. And on our negotiate, we get 3 from Inara. We get 1 from Malcolm. And we get 1 from the medic. So we're starting out with a 5. Oops. And we've got the Alliance fake ID, and that gives us 2 more. So we're starting out with a 7. Remember, we took that with us. So we're starting out with a 7. So we need to roll 1 die. Basically, we need a 1 or higher in order to do this. And we get a 6. We do some heroics. Thrilling heroics. What else did we get? A 6. And a 4, so we ended up with a 10 on top of our 7, so we ended up with a 17. Man, we talked our way through that. They gave us a room for the night. They put us up. They gave us some meals. They thought that Kaylee was their savior, and they've renamed Anson's World to Kaylee Town, and we just totally aced that negotiation. So with that, we get an 8 or plus is an extra 1,000 to our pay. So we get the 3,500 plus an extra 1,000 by being able to pass that so well. So we have got our 3,500 here. I'll lay that out here. And then we will reach down into the deck and we will see about pulling out an extra 1,000 since we did so well with the money, so well with the negotiation. Now, having done that, let's remember this time we need to take 1,000 off. So we're going to get rid of 1,000 and an additional 200 because we have to pay our crew. So there's the 1,200 for the crew. The captain never gets paid, but we got 369, 11, 1,200. There you go. So that goes back into the bank. That's our crew pay. They're all nice and happy. And that was us working the job. Let's get the money here, put it into our bank. We'll take the Misbehavin cards off the deck. And importantly, this now flips over. We'll put it in here. We are now solid with Niska as well. Niska has an interesting thing. Like I said, with Harkin, you're solid with Harkin. You can buy buy a fuel for $100 from them whenever you're on the space with the Alliance cruiser. We saw Badger can get rid of warrants if we had earned a warrant on that thing. Niska, his big thing is that if you are doing a Niska job and you get a warrant, you have to kill a crew member. Niska is not a very forgiving person, but he does pay pretty good for contraband there. Okay, so very good. Sorry, I got one addendum I'm having to add here. I'll insert this into the video at the appropriate place. One more thing, always make sure, look at your crew cards and see what? We had forgotten Malcolm here. When Malcolm completes a crime job, which that one was, we were working for Niska, he gets an extra 500. So we've got an extra 500. I don't think I've seen these. Got an extra 500 on top of what we earned. So we may not have got the grifter bonus, but because we're doing crime, we get the bonus from that. So there you go. And we not only earned that money, we got a piece of cargo as well. So next time we will be starting up from Anson's world. I think from there we are probably going to fly up here to the Space Bazaar and talk to Amnandul, who is the last person that we have not gotten a mission from. So we have got 2 people. We've got to get solid with Patience, and we've got to get solid with Amnandul, and then we will have completed the game. And we have got 11 turns left to do that. So we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, and we will see you then. Bye-bye.